EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present opening round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. All set to go, we take you to the first hole. Frank, you've been there so many times, really nothing like the first tee of a brand new championship.
The thought of the unknown, the beauty of sport, you and the golf course. Doesn't get any better, Rich.
Let's see what she's got here. She is loading up for the big one.
Whoa, that is long.
This is when the game is fun, Frank, when you get one high in the air and you have a down breeze and you just watch it stays in the air forever.
Look at the hang time on that.
Well played here, went straight for the flagstick, and she will have a nice putt coming up. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Wow, that hurt.
It did. Shot gone forever.
Moves into the top 10 with that birdie. Frank, there's so many impressive holes here at Wolf Creek, but the second really stands out.
Yeah, that tee box, is it 9 stories high? It's hard to imagine you can tee up that high, and obviously trying to judge distance is one thing, but also just the visual that you get.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
Is it stopped yet? It's still going.
What a display of power and precision off the tee. On the green here on the par 4 in 1. Little bit of a misread there.
Yeah, it was makeable, that's for sure.
Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll. And yet another birdie, this time inching into the top 5.
Frank, 227 yards from the back tee here at the par 3 third. This is all you want.
Well, that's for sure. Plays a little longer than that, too, by virtue of playing uphill. Thin air might negate some of that. There's going to be a good shot just to keep the ball on the green. One of the smaller greens here.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Not close, but not bad either. That one's about 25 feet away. It's a big putt right here for birdie. How does that not go in?
Amazing. Stroke looked good. Line looked good. Just did not take that final break.
No damage done. Made the par. And now let's go down to the action at the 4th. Couple of birdies already on the card. Still early, Frank, but we've seen some solid play.
This is exactly how you want to start the first round of a tournament, Rich. What a great shot. That's an absolute beauty.
Second shot. Good look at the green. Well, that's how you play the game, right there. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Comfortably inside the cut line, the young prodigy makes another birdie. We're in the desert, partner. I need water.
You're going to get it here, Rich. Par 5 second hole's got a nice stream that runs down the left side, as well as cutting the fairway. There's a crop of some 3 bunkers down that right side. I want to avoid that, but, Rich, this hole isn't too long. Under 500 yards, not even going to play that long, so very reachable.
We knew it right away. Picked up the tee, didn't even look at it. We can see it. It's perfect. Right down the middle of the fairway. Well, she just played a wonderful shot from back there. These putts keep the round together.
Is that an eagle?
That is an eagle, and that is a move all the way up to second place.
That's a doozy.
Frank, here at the 6th, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee?
Got to be careful here for the longer hitters, Rich. Driver actually might be too much. That stream that we just saw at the par 5 fifth hole, it also comes across here. So something that lands short of that, which is in the vicinity of 290 yards. That's the key. From there, you're not going to have too much more in, sort of 140, 150 yards in. It is a dogleg right, but find that fairway there. Second shot played just a fraction uphill. And this green, it's got more humps and hollows in it. It's to be expected, though. This course is absolutely crazy.
That will be a great look at birdie. 10-foot putt left. Now has a tie for the lead with that birdie.
Pep in the stride.
Frank, a very short par 4 here at the 7th, but not one you're going to try to hit off the tee?
No, unless you can fly the ball sort of 300 yards on the nose and stop it within sort of 5 or 6 yards, it's really too risky. This green is not very deep, just sort of 10 or 15 yards in depth. It's just a layup hole, but layup hole it simply doesn't mean grab a club and hit it down the fairway. The best way to play it is to try and hit the ball right on the number. And what I mean by number, I mean the full shot yardage for your second shot, even if that only is a sand iron.
Like a machine out there. Another green in regulation. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Oh man, you can't miss him from that distance. She's regarded as an excellent putter. Here another chance for birdie. Yet another birdie and on the march, 7 under for the tournament. Frank, the par 3/8 really is Wolf Creek in a nutshell. It's hard and it's really pretty.
It is, and it's really long too. Just under 250 yards off that back tee. Slight bit of elevation, but you can see from the tee, obviously, where you don't want to go and where you do go. If you're a little, tender of heart, then aim for the right side and avoid all that water down the left.
That's well played. Now a good look at birdie.
It's that sneaky distance.
Well, that's how you keep a round going, make putts just like that. Stepping up to the shot here at the 9th, it's a par 4, 390 yards.
It is anything other than straight off the tee because of all these sort of undulations and curvature on the fairway. You'd think well bunkered, but the last bunker on the right side there, longer hitters, they can nearly fly that, just over 300 yards. Either that, shorter hitter just played that fat area of the green. That'll be sort of some, 270 yards. That will take all the water out of play into a green that slopes back at you. So very good chance, even with a wedge in hand, to get the ball close. A good way to finish the front 9. Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
How'd you like that strike?
That was top of the tree.
Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Putting up some impressive numbers out here now, 9 under for the tournament. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. This one will play a little bit longer. It's up the hill to that green. That is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Now -10 for the round. On to the 11th hole, we're looking downhill, 215 yards to the green.
And this is one of the holes that you realize you're at Wolf Creek. You would never see this hole anywhere else in the world. It's amazing when you stand on this tee. You see all of the canyons around, but there is a little green area down there surrounded by a couple of bunkers. It's a great-looking par 3. It measures 215 yards. Very playable, and you never know. Today might be the day where you make birdie.
On the green, and a chance for birdie. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Now to the par 5, 12. Pretty big hole with a really big green.
And a really good blue area to the left, called water there. That's to be avoided off this tee, that's for sure. A good drive that avoids all of that. And then the hole is certainly reachable, but as you can see, water creeps in again, back right on this hole. So just don't get too cavalier here. A 5 wouldn't be the worst score. I know you want better, but believe me, I've seen many a 6 and 7s racked up here at 12.
Split the fairway with that. Just a gorgeous swing. In the fairway, sitting up nicely, and just 155 yards to go. Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. Superb shot.
It's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
And this will be a 5-foot putt here. Oh, they've made it for an eagle. Wow. Now to the 13th hole, and, I don't know, should we just fly it over the mountains, Frank?
It looks like that, but then you better find dry land. 350 yards, but as the crow flies, it's probably just a little over 300 yards. I don't know if the mere mortals would really want to flash it across that desert ridge. You probably want to play a little left of it, have a little pitch up the hill, but if you're one of the longer hitters, why not just try it, see if you can make it.
That was just a gutsy shot right there, and a good look at eagle coming up. Frank, how rare would this be if this putt drops?
Well, this is I'd like to say once in a lifetime, but on the odd occasion we do see back-to-back eagles, but it certainly is something to watch. A little bit more hope than determination in that putt.
And getting ready for the putt. Just playing great. 14 under already. 14th hole here at Wolf Creek. Time to pull out the driver and as well the phone because you want to take some pictures here. Yeah. What a spectacular view.
Stunning. You can see a whole panoramic sort of 360 degrees right around this golf course. Then when you flick back and actually look at the 14th hole, there's 6 bunkers, 3 really in play with the tee shot, as you can see, the other 3 just up by the green. Anything to the right of those is preferred, unless you want to be playing your second shot out of the canyon or the bunkers. Green should be fairly receptive, and 3 distinct portions, which is sort of a common trait here at Wolf Creek. That's sort of 3 different tier levels in that. But let's see, birdies are to be made at Wolf Creek, maybe even one here.
She is putting the full arsenal of her skill set on display this afternoon. Beautiful shot. Shouldn't be a problem here.
Comfortably knocks it in.
Now to the short par 3 15th hole here at Wolf Creek. What is this, Frank? Just a wedge or a 9-iron?
That's all, Rich, but it's very tempting to get greedy here. And, well, you pay the price, obviously, if you miss the green on the left down on those bunkers because they're, well, a good 6-7 feet below the level of the green. But with a wedge or a 9-iron, who doesn't go aiming at the flag? This looks like it's going to find the target.
What a display of shot making this has been, Frank.
Oh, that incredible approach shot there. The easiest of birdies coming up.
Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie. And what a day it's been. Now to the 16th hole as we get set for the finishing stretch. And Frank, what's the best way to play this relatively short par 4?
Somehow you've got to straighten the hole up in your mind's eye, Rich. Just look all the way across that canyon and look like the hole was built straight, because really that's the way it should be played. If you start looking left and turning it into a dog leg, then all of a sudden bad things can happen. So look straight at the green. That's your line. Just try and bisect those 2 fairway bunkers.
Always a little trick. Your club selection is key, playing downhill in this shot. Terrific golf shot, and now that for an easy birdie. Getting set now over the putt. And that's a birdie. So 2 holes left to play. Now the final par 5 on the course, 562 yards, the 17th.
The drive looks relatively strong.
Oh, I love this. She is winding up, just wants to tear the cover off this golf ball. Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
Is it stopped yet? It's still going.
Frank just continuing to make the game look easy.
This just shortens the whole golf course up when you can hit it that far.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Oh, just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much better than that all day today.
This putt would give her an eagle. Well done. Now the closing hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, what's ahead of us?
You could try and drive at this green, but there's too much trouble, really, Rich. Even though this hole's just over 300 yards, it's very ambitious to try and drive it across that water. Some might try. Most people try and hit a tee shot 240, 250 yard mark, and of course, you do the maths, you're only going to have 60 or 70 yards in, and, well, they want you to finish on a good note. So good drive in the fairway here, or pitch it on the green, make it three. Your friends drink in the clubhouse.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. What a shot. Perfectly placed right next to the hole. Frank, it's one thing to jumpstart your round. This would ignite the round.
Yeah, you don't normally see two par fives back-to-back, so the chances of having consecutive eagles is so rare. Rich, in that great opportunity, name on top of the leaderboard. It is only round one.
Good place to be. EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present second round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational.
Ah, nice.
Looks good. That was just a beautiful drive and hit it solid and right in the middle. Frank, what does the shot into this first green look like?
Well, it's back a little bit up the hill. Bunkers left and right, really the biggest concern, but a well-flighted shot to this three-level green will be well rewarded.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. That is classy.
A chance of going in.
There's a putt for eagle.
Great start.
Frank, you need to be a bit of a rock climber just to get to this second tee. 445-yard hole. What a view. I mean, she absolutely annihilated that tee ball.
Rich, that was a heat-seeking missile. That is out there.
They make it look so easy, and we know it isn't, but when you hit tee balls that long and that straight, it does make the game kind of simple. So on the putting surface, and taking a good look now at this birdie putt here at the second. Settles in over the putt. No problems early. Looks good.
It does look good. This bodes well. We might be in for a very, very low round today. This is definitely not going down the fairway.
It doesn't look good. I think it's going to be in the deep rough. Frank, better than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that looked like it was headed for that thick stuff the whole way, but a little fortunate. But then I guess you're allowed that in this game. Can't birdie them all, Rich.
Continues to hold that sizable lead on the rest of the field. Here at the fourth, 383 yards from the back tee. It's a dogleg right, but Frank, looking at all of those bunkers, you could really make a mess of this hole if you stray.
You can. That's why you've got to simplify it. Just something there that's going to find the fairway. Even like 3-wood and a wedge, that's really all this hole's going to require. Avoid the canyons on the left and in the desert, as well as just, I don't know how many bunkers there is on the right side. So a little bit of fairway up the left, find that there, and really, you should be looking at a birdie putt.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Now the approach here at the fourth, Frank.
Just a short iron really is all that's required across this green. You can see it has a raised front, but this is more like trying to parachute a shot onto the green there. And should really be looking at a birdie opportunity there. Not much wind. Remember, you're playing in the thin air, so just judging that distance.
Looking to make a move. This putt for birdie. Comfortably inside the cut line, the young prodigy makes another birdie. We're in the desert, partner. I need water.
You're going to get it here, Rich. Par 5 second hole's got a nice stream that runs down the left side, as well as cutting the fairway. There's a crop of some 3 bunkers down that right side. I want to avoid that, but, yeah, Rich, this hole isn't too long. Under 500 yards, not even going to play that long. So, very reasonable.
Just pulverize that golf ball.
Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. That's in the fairway. Frank, what's it going to take here on this approach at the par 5?
Well, some people might actually try and bounce it in between those 2 bunkers and run the ball up on the green, but personally, I'd try and actually take a hybrid or something with a little bit more loft and try and fly the ball. Take those 2 bunkers out of play.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Dialed in once again. She has played a superb approach shot. Shouldn't be a problem here. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, here at the 6th, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee?
Got to be careful here for the longer hitters, Rich. Driver actually might be too much. That stream that we just saw at the par 5 5th hole, it also comes across here. So something that lands short of that, which is in the vicinity of 280, 290 yards. That's the key. From there, you're not going to have too much more in, sort of 140, 150 yards in. It is a dogleg right, but find that fairway there. Second shot played just a fraction uphill. And this green, well, it's got more humps than hollows in it. It's to be expected, though. This course is absolutely crazy.
will be a great look at birdie. And getting ready for the putt.
Oh, how did that miss?
Are you kidding me? I mean, that one was dead center. Good effort and good par putt. Well, everybody loves the short par 4, and here we have one, Frank, just 302 yards, the 7th hole.
And this hole is anything other than straightforward, Rich. Huge drop off at the front of the screen that is surrounded by water. So it's going to be a layup off the tee, really, to try and get the right yardage. This green is very, it's not very deep, but it's extremely wide. The hardest thing is to try and get a flat lie with whatever club you decide to hit off the tee and get the right yardage. Otherwise, that green actually might be a little elusive, even though this is a very short hole. It's no snack, though. Oh, now that is going to hurt.
Good putt. Frank, I really like this hole, the par 3/8 here at Wolf Creek.
It measures just under 250 yards. Really what you want to know is the yardage just to the front edge of the green. Anything obviously that carries sort of 5 or 6 paces on there, then at least you've got a relatively big green to hit at. But you can see the trouble that surrounds short and left of this green, as well as just over the back.
Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Oh, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
Doing what needs to be done. You need to make them from that distance. Finishing up this front side here at the par 4 ninth, 390 yards. And what are we looking at, Frank?
Well, it looks relatively straightforward, but it's anything other than that. Decision time again. Do you lay it up into that wide area of the fairway? If you're a longer hitter and you are out here to have a little bit of fun, then maybe you want to take the head cover off because you get a little bit of an advantage if you can drive it over that last bunker on that right side, or at least take that out of play because you're only going to have a short pitch in here.
How good has the swing tempo been?
Has not lost it since the first hole, Rich. I think that's been the key to the round. Started with that rhythm, even though the winds were out there. The winds haven't abated, and neither has that rhythm.
Well, this looks good.
Certainly is. Oh, that's got to be 300 yards, isn't it?
Frank, I have to say I've been impressed by the level of golf today. Really came out here with a solid game plan and executed.
I agree. We've seen some great shots out there, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the round plays out.
Might go deep here in the red numbers.
Should be safely on deck.
Superb shot.
Well, it's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Continues to amaze, yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
Hold on here a second. She is winding up for a big one. She wants to smash as far as she can hit it.
Ball just took off the face. Oh, if this is up, it's good. Great Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's the next one. Judging by that light, it's not going to be too hard.
Our featured golfer setting up for another approach. Really needs to get something going here, Frank.
And that green right now must look like the size of a thimble.
Frank, not just a player, but an artist. Just beautiful work right there.
The only thing I can say, Rich, is that was Seve-esque.
In the hole for birdie. On to the 11th hole, we're looking downhill, 215 yards to the green.
And this is one of the holes that you realize you're at Wolf Creek. You would never see this hole anywhere else in the world. It's amazing when you stand on this tee. You see all of the canyons around, but there is a little green area down there surrounded by a couple of bunkers. It's a great-looking par 3. It measures 215 yards. Very playable, and you never know. Today might be the day where you make birdie.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Continuing to putt with confidence. Frank, the par 5 12th is another case of a hole where you see that Wolf Creek Golf Club can actually be kind of scary, daunting. When you look out at the desert mountains and then you add in some water, which we have here on the left, and you can go for some big numbers here if you're not careful.
Well, this is where the Wolf and the Creek can take a bite out of you. You hit it left off the tee, then you're certainly going to start to rack up a number. There's enough fairway down the right, but once again, if you hit a good drive and this hole is reachable for you, then you've got to worry about the water, which is to the right of this green. 5 wouldn't be the worst score you could make around here, that's for sure. I've seen 6s and 7s.
Split the fairway with that. Just a gorgeous swing. So this is where club selection becomes much more important. Uphill, make sure you have enough stick, and then swing away. This one looks right on point. That was a big, bold strike, and now a chance for a big, bold move. Putt for eagle coming up. Right in the heart. 13th hole here at Wolf Creek, and Frank, anyone can say, oh, I'm going to take this one over the trees. But very few can stand up and say, I'm flying this baby clear over the mountains.
Yeah, if you take the direct route, obviously it's going to be much shorter than the 350 yards that it's measured as a dogleg right. So the direct line, well, I don't want to tell you the exact yardage because it might give you too much of a clue, but it might be worth taking. It's going to be a blind tee shot, though, and you're not quite sure on the outcome.
What a display of power and precision off the tee. On the green here on the par 4 in 1. That may have been a bit too much to ask for there, that distance putt, Frank.
Yeah, it's fine to be greedy before you hit the putt, but after you've hit it, 2 from that distance is fine.
Count that. That's a birdie. Frank, describe the layout here at the 14th hole. It's 444 yards, and what a beautiful hole.
It is, and it's a beautiful view. You see everything from the top of that tee there. It's a hole that keeps bending to the left. There's enough bunkers down the left there to actually take your eye. That's why you've got to fixate on something in the distance that's a much better line than worrying about that wall of sand down the left side.
Wayward from the tee, and this one is headed for the rough, Frank. Second shot now from 100 yards.
There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it. I mean, this skill, and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Always love to hear the sound at the bottom of the cup. Now to the par 3 15th hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, this is the shortest hole on the course.
And their version of the postage stamp type hole, minus the bunkers on the right side. Green elevated, falls off as you can see down the left side. Club selection is vital, but it is such a short hole. It's very, very tempting, especially when that flag's on the left side, to still go at it. But you miss this green on the left, and you are going to be considerably lower than the level of this green.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt.
Solid stroke there, no sign of nerves on that.
From a short par 3 to a short par 4. Just 393 yards here at the 16th, Frank.
And when you stand on this tee, this hole looks anything other than straight. Goes to the left and comes back to the right. But if you can just fixate at the green in the distance, you're actually going to look like a relatively straight par 4. And that's the way the hole should be played. Look at those first two bunkers that you see and just try and split those. Good tee shot here and nothing more than a wedge left into the green. Simplify it. That's the key.
That is classy.
No chance of going in.
Frank, we have said it over and over. Another birdie. Frank, this is really a cool closing stretch here at Wolf Creek. Short par 3 15th, the short 4 at the 16th, and now the par 5 17th. You can make up some ground in a hurry as you come down the finishing stretch.
You certainly can. A good drive short of the little stream creek that runs across there, and this is doable as a two-shotter. If you find the bunkers or trouble off the tee, then obviously you're forced to lay up, leaving that third shot across the water. But really a fun hole if you want to try and take that second shot on.
Frank, what makes this downhill shot a little trickier in terms of club selection and setup?
Because of the nature of the downhill, that ball's just going to come out a little lower. So you've got to take that into consideration. It might run a little more on the back end. Surely not.
On the green in regulation. And a huge momentum shift with that eagle. Finishing hole here at Wolf Creek is only 307 yards. Frank, where's the trouble here?
Short and to the right of this par 4. Really, there's a multitude of options off this tee. You could hit an iron, you could hit a fairway wood. Even some might try and hit a driver, but that's a little too risky. There's too many problems up ahead if you try and take this hole on. Really a short club off the tee, leaving yourself some area of 100, 70 yards, and you're going to be putting for birdie more often than not.
And the tee shot ends up in the bunker.
And an awkward little bunker shot. Just splash it out, let the ball run towards the flag.
Frank, that reminds you of maybe what, the greatest bunker player of all time? Locked in on the read and the speed.
That was cruel. That looked like it was certainly going in.
Clean this up with a tap. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall.
Well, Rich, 2 rounds in the books, and it's easy to see why the leaders are on top of that leaderboard.
Excellent performance, but still a long ways to go in this tournament. EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present third round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Well, this is one of my favorite tournaments of the year. It's the EA Sports Spring Invitational, and just a stunning golf course. It's Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. And Frank, we're in for quite a day.
We are. We're going to see the decision-making processes of some of the fine players out there today. And the reason why I say that, Rich, is because there's so much elevation here at Wolf Creek. So you're going to have to make those adjustments on the downhill and the uphill. Club selection decisions. And, of course, the one that does that the best is more than likely the one that's going to come out on top.
And let's go down to the first. Frank, it's a different feeling on the first tee on a weekend, third round of a championship like this than, say, on the first round, isn't it?
You know you've got the grips of the golf course. You know the holes that are birdieable out there. More importantly, too, you know how well you're playing. It's all in front of you. Sport, especially like this at the highest level.
Oh, he loves that one. You can see it. This one is high, it is deep, and it is gone. Sitting up in the fairway now, 180 yards away. Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. And what a shot. Setting up for an eagle here. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. So the eagle goes begging. He still has this for birdie. And getting ready for the putt.
Great start.
Here at the par 4, 445-yard second hole. Severe dogleg to the left. What's the best play here, Frank?
Well, that tee shot, Rich, is so intimidating, so you don't necessarily have to hit driver. Club decision is probably going to be important here, because if you hit driver, you've got to take it down over that left side, all over the canyon area. So if you hit 3-wood, you can play a slightly more conservative tee shot, but it is going to leave you a longer second shot to a green that's well protected on the right side by bunkers. But really, you know, if the wind's not blowing, this is a really good, fun hole to play. Look at the vistas.
That one is just a little offline, and that will not end up in the fairway. Second shot coming out of the rough here. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. And this would be nice. 2 straight birdies. Not a real hard game, is it? Birdie to open. Now on to the third, first of the short holes here at Wolf Creek. Uphill shot, Frank?
Yes, it's going to play a little longer because of that. Then it's 227 yards off the back tee. Hard to imagine you have a par 3 in amongst this desert. And really, that's all it is. Tee and green. There's not much in between. Well protected, as you can see, by those bunkers. And this green a little smaller than what you'd like for a hole that's around that 230-yard mark.
Good, clean contact, and a nice result. And a chance for birdie coming up. This is a 13-footer. Well, that's a bit disappointing.
I guarantee you, though, she thought she had that one.
Doesn't want to let this one get away. She needs this for par. Par here's fine, isn't it, Frank? Here at the fourth, 383 yards from the back tee. It's a dogleg right, but Frank, looking at all of those bunkers, you could really make a mess of this hole if you stray.
You can. That's why you've got to simplify it. Just something there that's going to find the fairway. Even like 3-wood and a wedge, that's really all this hole's going to require. Avoid the canyons on the left and in the desert, as well as just, I don't know how many bunkers there is on the right side. So a little bit of fairway up the left, find that there, and really, you should be looking at a birdie putt. Should be safely on deck.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Great shot to get the birdie. How about this hole, Frank? Par 5, fifth.
If you stand on this tee for the first time, you've got virtually no idea where you've got to aim. Do you aim it left of those bunkers? Do you aim it over the sort of the canyon? Really, the answer is how far do you hit it? Because
hold on here a second. She is winding up for a big one. Smash this far she can hit it.
Can a ball explode?
That is big. I mean, really big. She had a good shot off the tee, and now she has all sorts of options available. Let's see what she does here. Frank, on an uphill shot like this one, did you do anything differently in terms of your setup over the ball?
Yeah, I made sure the ball wasn't too far forward because on an uphill shot, there's always a struggle to get all your weight going forward.
What a shot. Perfectly placed right next to the hole. Just a little tap in here. Doing what needs to be done. You need to make it from that distance. Here at the 6th, 447-yard par 4. Pretty good hole, Frank.
Yeah, probably a layup hole, too, for the longer hitters. Something out there around the 280, 290-yard mark to make sure you don't go it in the stream. Obviously, it's a dogleg right, as you can see. The canyon on both sides is sort of well-defined, so you know where not to go. Second shot plays a little bit back up the hill to a green, once again, that's anything other than flat. It's fun. You've got to make sure you get that ball on the right tier if you want to have a birdie putt here.
Well, that one is deep. Every bit of that ball. Second shot here at the 6th at Wolf Creek. What do you think of this approach, Frank?
Well, it's decision time, really, Rich. Do you want to try and fly it onto this green, or do you try and run it in between those two bunkers? Personally, I think you've got to fly it because you've got a backstop behind the screen. All the mountains that sort of protect the back of the screen. If anything, it should run back on.
Just a couple of feet.
Literally no error in that putting stroke. Good putt.
Now on to the par 4 7th hole. Is this a reachable par 4, Frank?
Distance-wise, you would think so, but the designer has done something to avoid that, and that's put all this water in front of the green. It would take a mammoth tee shot, and that's something like 300 yards through the air if you're going to try and even drive this green. Is the risk worth it? Well, if you're just playing with your friends, maybe it is. Otherwise, you just lay it up just past those those bunkers on the right and the left. Get it down there on the flat. A little pitch you would think is simple, but because of the slope of this fairway, chances are you might not get a flat lie, and that's going to make that second shot that much harder.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
Okay, good shot on the dance floor. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. They'll take it. That's a par. Frank, I really like this hole, the par 3/8 here at Wolf Creek.
It measures just under 250 yards. Really what you want to know is the yardage just to the front edge of the green. Anything obviously that carries sort of 5 or 6 paces on there, then at least you've got a relatively big green to hit at. But you can see the trouble that surrounds short and left of this green, as well as just over the back.
So 24 feet after that approach shot, Frank.
It's just outside the what you'd think very makeable distance.
That may have been a bit too much to ask for there, that distance putt, Frank.
Yeah, it's fine to be greedy before you hit the putt, but after you've hit it, 2 from that distance is fine.
Has it. Set to round out the front side here at Wolf Creek with a par 4.
Fun hole for the big hitter, too. They can really take advantage of this. The last fairway bunker down there on the right side is just over 300 yards to get over it. And longer hitters could nearly drive it in the green side bunker on the right. So just tee it up there. You're playing desert golf for a reason. Enjoy it. Just have a little flick in here. And chance, too, to have a little birdie at the end of your front 9. There's always advantage of hitting it further than most, Rich, and straighter than most. When you put the two together, it's just straight up a head start. There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
That will be a great look at birdie. Shouldn't be a problem here. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back. Grab the fire extinguisher. Put out that ball is on fire. It's melting going through the air.
Just blasted that tee ball, Frank. Steeply up the hill here. This is going to play very long. Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Settles in over the putt. Mark a birdie on the card. We're here at the downhill par 3 11th hole. Frank, it's 215 yards from the back tee.
This hole certainly is not for the faint of heart. When you look at that tee shot, you think, oh my God, what do I do from here? But remind yourself, it's 215 yards and really only about 160, 170 yards to green grass again. But it's 215 yards. That should be the club that you're trying to pick. Green's big enough, just persuade yourself. Try not to look at the canyon in the desert. There is a green down there. The hole is playable.
10-foot putt left. Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it is going to hurt the course.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall.
Rich, I remember playing with, it was Ben Crenshaw and Mark McCumber in a World Cup of Golf at Royal Melbourne. And Royal Melbourne's greens are as fast as any in the world. And it was probably one of the best putting exhibitions I ever saw without Ben actually making every putt. His sense of speed, and I think that's where I started to see that putting was a real art. He would look at a putt like it had 7 or 8 different dimensions to it. But it was all feel. It wasn't mechanical. It wasn't like this sort of amazing thought process. It was sort of through osmosis. He would just feel a green. So it would go up and down, several humps and hollows and that, and invariably just, if it missed, it just settled on the back of the cup. And these were the fastest greens in the world. Incredible display.
His longtime caddy at Augusta National, Carl Jackson, they came together in the mid-1970s. Carl recalls the first time he saw Ben, and what stood out was, as Carl tells it, the putting stroke. And in Carl's words, it flowed like the wind. Good putt. 13th hole, and Frank, Wolf Creek is really kind of a macho golf course because you can stand on a tee like this and say, you know what, I'm going to take this one over the mountains.
And then, if you do, then you flip the coin. Is it in play or is it out of play? This is one hole. You just you realize you're in the middle of the desert, that's for sure. And one hole that you think, if I play this hole a couple of times, I might just get the hang of it.
She is putting the full arsenal of her skill set on display this afternoon. Beautiful shot. Frank, it's one thing to jumpstart your round. This would ignite the round.
Yeah, you don't normally see 2 par 5s back-to-back, so the chances of having consecutive eagles is so rare.
Frank, describe the layout here at the 14th hole. It's 444 yards, and what a beautiful hole.
It is, and it's a beautiful view. You see everything from the top of that tee there. It's a hole that keeps bending to the left. There's enough bunkers down the left there to actually take your eye. That's why you've got to fixate on something in the distance that's a much better line than worrying about that wall of sand down the left side.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up? It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th. And getting ready for the putt. Oh, that hurts. Made a good run at birdie. He'll have to focus now. Try to walk away with the par. She needs this for her par. Nothing wrong with that par putt. Now to the short par 3 15th hole here at Wolf Creek. What is this, Frank? Just a wedge or a 9-iron?
That's all, Rich, but it's very tempting to get greedy here. And, well, you pay the price, obviously, if you miss the green on the left down in those bunkers because they're, well, a good 6-7 feet below the level of the green. But with a wedge or a 9-iron, who doesn't go aiming at the flag?
That's well played. Places it about 10 feet out for birdie. This is a 9-footer. Good roll. Short par 4, 16th hole, measures only 393 yards. But Frank, as is the case with pretty much every hole, despite the yardage, there's plenty of trouble.
It does. It plays tricks on the mind's eye here. It looks like it's a dog leg going one way, then back the other way. But really, it's built as a straight hole just across the canyon. And that's the way you've got to play it. I don't think you can drive the green, even the longest hitters at 393 yards. But just a nice drive down there. Take the bunkers on, get it past there. And before you know it, you've got a little wedge in here. And it should sit up nicely for a birdie.
Frank, this one looks like it might have a postage stamp on it. Airmail City.
Yeah, lick it. Send it.
That is classy.
There's no chance of going in.
Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie. And what a day it's been. Frank, you licking your chops here at the par 5, 17th hole?
Oh, why not? A chance to reach a par 5 and 2, but there's still pitfalls in front of you. A little creek or stream runs across the fairway, so really limiting the distance you can hit that tee shot, but it's still reachable from just short of that creek. Find trouble off the tee, then obviously you turn it into a three-shotter, but a good tee shot, and it's too tempting to resist not going for this green.
She's ended up on the fairway, and with such a good lie, so many more options available now. This one's looking good. Frank, that is how it's done.
Yeah, take a gross of those. That is a lesson in itself.
And now a chance for eagle. Now the closing hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, what's ahead of us?
You could try and drive at this green, but there's too much trouble, really, Rich. Even though this hole's just over 300 yards, it's very ambitious to try and drive it across that water. Some might try. Most people try and hit a tee shot 240, 250-yard mark. Do the maths, you're only going to have 60 or 70 yards in, and, well, they want you to finish on a good note. So good drive in the fairway here, or 3-wood. Pitch it on the green, make a 3, and buy your friends a drink in the clubhouse.
I mean, that is a sight to behold. What a spectacular shot we just saw on the par 4 with a drive in 1.
Rich, how can you leave an eagle putt short?
Well, you can't. I mean, that's embarrassing.
You can leave a par putt, birdie putt, an eagle putt.
Might want to just shut the game down and quit playing. It is in the hole for a birdie. Frank, in golf, there's nothing quite like the final round of a hotly contested championship, and this one could be a doozy.
And there's nothing quite like that leaderboard I'm looking at right now. We are going to have some amazing golf. This one is going to have to be won.
EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present final round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Always some extra excitement when you get to the first major championship of the year, and here we are. Rich Loader alongside Frank Nobilo. We're at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada for the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Partner, this is a big one.
It certainly is, Rich, and being the first major of the year, you know the players are going to be a little bit more nervous. Anticipations of a great year are going to start right here this week at Wolf Creek. And you're going to have to make all those adjustments out there. Is your game ready? Can you adjust for the changes in elevation? And do you have the confidence to go all the way and pick up the first major championship of the year?
Always makes the hole easier, playing it from the fairway. Frank, what does the shot into this first green look like?
Well, it's back a little bit up the hill. Bunkers left and right are really the biggest concern, but a well-flighted shot to this three-level green will be well rewarded.
Good-looking shot right here. And that's how you play the game, right there. This putt would give her an eagle.
And a great start.
Frank, there's so many impressive holes here at Wolf Creek, but the second really stands out.
Yeah, that tee box is at 9 stories high. It's hard to imagine you can tee up that high, and obviously trying to judge distance is one thing, but also just the visual that you get.
Oh, I love this. She is winding up, just wants to tear the cover off this golf ball.
Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Oh my goodness, that is on in one. Wow, what an incredible shot. Frank, that's just a really good putt right there.
Yeah, that's why you call lag putting. You get outside a certain distance, and really your mind has to be about two putting and not trying to be a hero.
You'll love them, the birdies, and that's another one. All right, Frank, describe the third hole.
Well, it's a par 3 with a bit of a tabletop green, Rich. Some bunkers right and left of that, but also it's going to play a little bit further. This tee shot is uphill, unlike the opening 2 holes. So a 3 here, and that certainly won't hurt the scorecard.
Well played here, went straight for the flagstick, and she will have a nice putt coming up. In the heart. Back to the tee here at Wolf Creek. A lot of sand along the right side of this fairway leading up to the green, Frank.
Yeah, I can't even count how many bunkers they got down that right side. It's easy to see where not to go. So obviously you want to get that ball up on that left side. And then really it's just a short pitch across. But yeah, this hole's only 383 yards. And it won't even really play its distance. But of course you've got to be careful. It's not long. But fairway first once again here. You can see all the problems around there if you do miss this fairway. Should be safely on deck.
That will be a great look at birdie. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Always love to hear the sound at the bottom of the cup. We're in the desert, partner. I need water.
You're going to get it here, Rich. Par 5 second hole's got a nice stream that runs down the left side, as well as cutting the fairway. There's a crop of some 3 bunkers down that right side. I want to avoid that, but, Rich, this hole isn't too long. Under 500 yards, not even going to play that long, so very reachable.
She really hit that tee ball nicely. It is in perfect position, and now she'll have a chance to capitalize. The green is up above, and this will play at least a club longer. Superb shot.
That's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
Good chance here. Currently at 5 under par.
Just making a mockery of the field now. Another eagle.
Here at the 6th, 447-yard par 4. Pretty good hole, Frank.
Yeah, probably a layup hole, too, for the longer hitters. Something out there around the 280, 290-yard mark to make sure you don't go it in the stream. Obviously, it's a dogleg right, as you can see. The canyon on both sides is sort of well-defined, so you know where not to go. Second shot plays a little bit back up the hill to a green, once again, that's anything other than flat. It's fun. You've got to make sure you get that ball on the right tier if you want to have a birdie putt here.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Birdie try up next. That has to feel good. That's a birdie. Well, everybody loves the short par 4, and here we have one, Frank, just 302 yards, the 7th hole.
And this hole is anything other than straightforward, Rich. Huge drop-off at the front of the screen that is surrounded by water. So it's going to be a layup off the tee, really, to try and get the right yardage. This green is very, it's not very deep, but it's extremely wide. The hardest thing is to try and get a flat lie with whatever club you decide to hit off the tee and get the right yardage. Otherwise, that green actually might be a little elusive, even though this is a very short hole.
Well, she just played a wonderful shot from back there. And getting ready for the putt. Well, that's a bit disappointing.
I guarantee you, though, she thought she had that one.
See if she can put a birdie on the card here. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, the par 3/8 really is Wolf Creek in a nutshell. It's hard, and it's really pretty.
It is, and it's really long, too. Just under 250 yards off that back tee. Slight bit of elevation, but you can see from the tee, obviously, where you don't want to go and where you do go. If you're a little, tender of heart, then aim for the right side and avoid all that water down the left.
That's a solid shot here into the 8th hole, and a good chance now for another birdie. These putts keep the round together. That's how you keep a round going, making from that distance. Stepping up to the shot here at the 9th, it's a par 4, 390 yards.
It is anything other than straight off the tee because of all these sort of undulations and curvature on the fairway. You'd think well bunkered, but the last bunker on the right side there, longer hitters, they can nearly fly that, just over 300 yards. Either that, shorter hitter just play to that fat area of the green. That'll be sort of some, 270 yards. That will take all the water out of play into a green that slopes back at you. So very good chance, even with a wedge in hand, to get the ball close. A good way to finish the front 9. There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
That is classy.
No chance of going in.
So the dominant performance continues.
Yeah, we're watching two tournaments right now, the one at the top and the rest.
Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back. Ah, nice.
Looks good. Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. Frank, this is a pretty challenging approach shot here at the 10th.
It's certainly one of the longest second shots you'll play into a par 4 at Wolf Creek. You're coming off a lie with a ball slightly above your feet, so that's a hook shot. And you're really hitting a hook shot into a green that's designed to hit a cut. It makes this shot a little bit more challenging, so just be a little careful here.
She is putting the full arsenal of her skill set on display this afternoon. Beautiful shot. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Great shot. Get the birdie. On to the 11th hole. We're looking downhill, 215 yards to the green.
And this is one of the holes that you realize you're at Wolf Creek. You would never see this hole anywhere else in the world. It's amazing when you stand on this tee. You see all of the canyons around, but there is a little green area down there surrounded by a couple of bunkers. It's a great-looking par 3. It measures 215 yards. Very playable, and you never know. Today might be the day where you make birdie.
Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. Shouldn't be a problem here. Continues to amaze, yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Par 5, 12, and Frank, another reminder that Wolf Creek can really be intimidating.
It can. Water down the left, they'll take a huge dent off your scorecard. A lot of fairway down the right. Somehow find that. This par 5 can be reachable, and there's still trouble to the right of this green if you get a little bit cavalier. This, without doubt, the longest green on the golf course. It's 55 yards from front to back.
Frank just continuing to make the game look easy.
This just shortens the whole golf course up when you can hit it that far.
Frank, what's it going to take to get home into on this par 5?
A good drive for a start, but, well, the second shot, it's going to be hard to estimate what you're going to have because this is the longest green on the golf course, 55 yards from front to back. And you can see it's very, very narrow. You don't also want to miss that green on the right because water will come into play. So this you have to be very, very precise. That ball better be coming out of the chute straight.
Doing what needs to be done. You need to make them from that distance. Now to the 13th hole, and, I don't know, should we just fly it over the mountains, Frank?
It looks like that, but then you better find dry land. 350 yards, but as the crow flies, it's probably just a little over 300 yards. I don't know if the mere mortals would really want to flash it across that desert ridge. You probably want to play a little left of it, have a little pitch up the hill, but if you're one of the longer hitters, why not just try it, see if you can.
That one inside of 10 feet. Really dialed in. Frank, how rare would this be if this putt drops?
Well, this is I'd like to say once in a lifetime, but on the odd occasion we do see back-to-back eagles, but it certainly is something to watch. Well,
14th hole here at Wolf Creek. Time to pull out the driver and as well the phone because you want to take some pictures here. What a spectacular view.
Stunning. You can see a whole panoramic of 360 degrees right around this golf course. Then when you flick back and actually look at the 14th hole, there's 6 bunkers, 3 really in play with the tee shot, as you can see, the other 3 just up by the green. Anything to the right of those is preferred, unless you want to be playing your second shot out of the canyon or the bunkers. Green should be fairly receptive, and 3 distinct portions, which is sort of a common trait here at Wolf Creek. That's sort of 3 different tier levels in that. But let's see, birdies are to be made at Wolf Creek, maybe even one here.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Oh, just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much better than that all day today.
Makes the putt for a birdie. Here at the 15th hole here at Wolf Creek, bit of a breather here. Nice, short par 3. You don't want to miss this green.
No, that's the temptation there. If you try and bite off a little too much because it looks a little too easy, then a bogey here and you're in a bad mood all of a sudden at Wolf Creek.
Moving a little bit to the right. Well, that's how it's done. The approach shot is within 10 feet. Another good look. Settles in over the putt.
Just when you think you're going to make birdie, now have to really concentrate on this and at least make par.
And takes care of business there.
Solid stroke.
Now to the 16th hole, and Frank, another good scoring chance.
If you can avoid the confusion off the tee, it looks like the hole might be a dogleg, then is it a carry? It meanders from one way to the other, but really when you actually break the hole down, it's virtually straight ahead. Those 2 bunkers in the driving distance, they frame the hole nicely, so play it as a straightaway par 4. It should set up beautifully for just a little short iron and perhaps a birdie opportunity.
Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
Oh, I'm going to say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie.
Solid stroke there, no sign of nerves on that.
Frank, you licking your chops here at the par 5, 17th hole?
Oh, why not? A chance to reach a par 5 and 2, but this...
Hold on here a second. She is winding up for a big one. Smash this far as she can hit it.
That's a ginormous tee shot.
Nice position, short grass, second shot. This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
Superb shot.
Yeah, it's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
And it is down for an eagle. '18th hole, and Frank, again, a good scoring opportunity. Short par 4.
Yeah, if you looked at the scorecard, you'd think you could drive this green, but one quick look at the trouble in front and to the right of the screen, and you realize that's probably not the prudent play. Really, something 230, 240 yards off the tee in that vicinity is going to leave you just a flick wedge into this green. It is a rather narrow green, but from that distance, you expect to hit it close.
What a display of power and precision off the tee. On the green here on the par 4 in 1. That's the idea. Just knock it in. Just a great putt and a great win. Finishing hole here at Wolf Creek is only 307 yards. Frank, where's the trouble here?
Short and to the right of this par 4. Really, there's a multitude of options off this tee. You could hit an iron, you could hit a fairway wood. Even some might try and hit a driver, but that's a little too risky. There's too many problems up ahead if you try and take this hole on. Really, a short club off the tee, leaving yourself some area of 100, 70 yards, and you're going to be putting for birdie more often than not.